What happens when a club filled with superstars finds its next gem from within? Enter Nico O'Reilly. Manchester City's homegrown talent quietly making a big noise in one of the best squads and teams in world football. From FA Cup heroics to Pep Guardiola's glowing praise, O'Reilly's rise is no fluke. Today, I'm going to dive deep into why Pep rates him so highly, how he plays, and whether we are witnessing the birth of the next great City player. Born in Manchester, Nico O'Reilly joined the City Academy at just 8 years old. A boyhood fan of the club, he's risen through the ranks with quiet determination. The now 20-year-old has captained City's under-18 side, impressed with the elite development squad, and now he's knocking on the first team door. And to be honest, he's actually bulldozing through it like there's no tomorrow. His professional debut came in the Community Shield against Manchester United, a bold sign of Pep Guardiola's trust. Since then, he's featured in the FA Cup, Premier League, and continues to impress whilst in training. Let's talk impact. In the FA Cup quarter-final against Bournemouth, O'Reilly came off the bench and completely changed the game. With City trailing, he assisted twice, threading passes through tight spaces and showing composure far beyond his years. A few rounds earlier against Plymouth, he scored a brilliant goal, timing his late run to perfection and calmly slotting past the keeper. It wasn't just the goal though, it was the way he dictated play, calm, clinical and confident. Even Guardiola admitted post-match he understands space, timing. It's a very rare thing at that age. That's high praise from a manager who coached, of course, Iniesta, Xavi, Kevin De Bruyne, Lionel Messi, and some of the greatest players that planet Earth has ever seen. So what does Pep Guardiola see in Nico O'Reilly exactly? Well, for one, I reckon it's the intelligence. He seems to be a player who can read the game like a seasoned pro. He knows when to move, when to stay, when to press. I feel like it's such a rare thing at this age for someone to have such high IQ. And again, you need it in a Pep Guardiola team. Second, I feel like it's probably his versatility as well. This is a player who can play as a number 8 and number 10. Heck, he's been playing left back. Again, it's a bit like Miles Lewis-Skelly that we see, at Arsenal under Mikel Arteta. It's quite similar in terms of players who are playing in positions that they probably haven't really been playing in, throughout their youth years. In a Guardiola team, flexibility is gold and he offers it in abundance. And thirdly, it's probably his bravery. Pep loves players who don't hide, and Nico O'Reilly does not hide. He demands the ball under pressure. Not only does he demand it, he does something meaningful when he does have it. And I think these are traits that Pep Guardiola can respect more than anything. As I mentioned before, of course, he's managed some of the best players, in football history, but ultimately he can respect when someone's putting in the effort, but also showing what they can actually do. Now, when we're talking about his playing style, I'd say it blends elegance with efficiency. He has that kind of Ilkay Gundogan knack of drifting into the right place at the right time. He's not the flashiest of players, but he's incredibly effective. Naturally, again, like I mentioned before, he operated as a central midfielder, often acting as the link between midfield and attack. But here's the interesting part. Pep's already tested him in multiple roles, including at left back. So it might be a bit strange, but in a Guardiola system, left back often means tucking into midfield in possession. So when you think about players like Zinchenko or Cancelo, players who they don't just stay in their primary role. Vardy, you see him almost playing as a winger these days and, sometimes moving centrally as well. And I feel like it speaks volumes about O'Reilly's tactical intelligence. Pep clearly trusts him to interpret complex roles. Whether it's centrally or wide, O'Reilly's first touch is sharp, his passing crisp, and he always scans before receiving. That constant awareness is a Guardiola must. He's also beginning to deliver real end product, goals, assists, and those vital progressive passes. His stats at youth level were impressive, and now he's translating that into senior appearances. Off the ball, he presses smart and aggressively, not just chasing shadows, and physically he's matured, stronger, quicker and more confident in duels. He's not just a silky technician, he can handle the physical demands of top flight football. And these are the traits, again, added to the ones we spoke about before, I feel like these are the things that are going to give him a very, very good chance in cementing a place in this squad, and then of course cementing himself in that first team. He's doing himself no harm at this current moment in time, by the way. You know, he's putting in the performances which are obviously helping City out, and sometimes, especially when teams are not doing well, this is when you can unearth certain players. Now it's just about really the consistency, to be honest with you, because, you know, most of us do believe that Manchester City will come back, you know, to being the team that we know that they kind of are. So hopefully for his sake, he can just continue this level of performances he's putting in, and then he can of course just keep it moving forward with that. And then hopefully once Manchester City are back in a good place, he'll be one of the star players potentially in the team. And then hopefully for City's sake, I mean, they'll then have players like Phil Foden, they'll have Rico Lewis, you know, and hopefully then of course having someone like Nico O'Reilly, you know, producing these younger players into the first team squad gives so much confidence to those other players in the academy to then try and hope that they can potentially make it into that first team. As the season starts drawing to its conclusion, the big question is, of course, what's next for O'Reilly? Pep seems reluctant to send him out on loan, a sign he sees real first team value already, but if he stays, he'll need the minutes. As I mentioned before, with young players, I think I've said it in almost every video that I've done about young players, and I'll continue to do so. They need minutes. They cannot develop by sitting on the bench. They're going to need minutes. Could he rotate, you know, in the future, potentially with someone at the back there? We'll just have to wait and see. Or will he play as an impact sub late in games? Either way, the message is clear. O'Reilly isn't just filling space. He's pushing for a real role. City have reportedly blocked interest from other Premier League clubs, and that tells you everything about how highly they rate him. From local lad to Etihad hopeful, Nico O'Reilly's journey is just beginning. With Pep Guardiola's belief, his sharp mind and natural ability, the future might just be sky blue. Watch this space, because O'Reilly is ready to rise. Guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to smash that like, share and subscribe in the comments, and let me know, is Nico O'Reilly the next Manchester City youth star?